Hi everybody, this is Laura at Little Anchor Designs. How are you today? I am here with items from our brand new December release to show you, and I'm super excited about it. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? So I thought that I would get right into showing you everything from the new release, plus some things that I have created with these brand new products. How's that sound? And the reason why I'm not shooting my intro, not only do I look a fright today, but I throw out my back. And so I'm not feeling my best, so I hope you'll bear with me that this will have a slightly different format, but I assure you that I intend to include all the same goodness as with our previous videos. So I guess I'll just begin right at the top here. This release is really inclusive of a lot of fan favorites or follow-ups to fan favorites that we released previously this year. So people really enjoyed our dual dotted rectangles and squares. So we followed up with ovals, circles, and some tags. So let's talk about the circles first. They are awesome. They will come, I'll put this down here so we don't lose focus. How about this? They come nested on this magnetic sheet, and the largest circle is approximately 4.25 inches in diameter, which is right in line with our stitched circles that are similar. And all the dots that you see here, they'll cut on the outside and inside of the cut line. So I can't call it my signature dual stitching because it's not stitching, it's dots. Let me see if I have something to show you, and I do. Using this awesome negative dotted cut. So I used my circle dies to create this card. So as you can see, the front has this awesome dotted detail on the outside of the circles that have been cut, and that allowed me to put things on the inside of the card and have them peek through to the front. So that's just one of the many things that you can do with this fabulous die set. If you are a fan of rectangles and the squares, you're sure to be a fan of the circles, because who doesn't love circles for crafting? And so we thought we would bring you the coordinating ovals as well. Same deal, but there are 3 dies in this set. We didn't want to go too large because remember, it still has to fit on the front of a card, which I've done here with the largest die. And so you can see that it's perfect, an oversized focal panel for a sentiment here, which I love. These are great to have in your collection. Surprisingly, I don't reach for ovals as much as I should, and then when I use them, I'm like, oh, they're such a pretty shape. They're fabulous. You will love them, especially if you love our already having our stitched ones already. Next up are the tags that are just like them, and this is a set of 3 tags which are nested on this magnetic sheet, and then we included the hang holes separately so that you are not forced to use these as tags and have a hole, you know, in them. So you can use them just as a plain focal point, which you can see I did here on this card. Instead of using it as a tag, I just used it as a decorative focal point for my little stamp set, which I'll get to here in a minute. Cute, right? I know, I just love this dotted detail. It's really, really fun, and it just creates such a neat look. I really, really am enjoying these. So with that being said, we'll go on to 2 more dies here, and then we'll get into some of the stamps. We have a brand new cover-up die for you today, and it's called Diamond Lace, and it too has the dotted detail on it, so a lot of things coordinate today. And this is basically a follow-up to some of the popular dotted detail dies that we released. They're not officially called that. The 2 that we released, or 3 really, were the cover-up die Eyelet the cover-up die dotted scallops, and then the cover-up die pointelle. And they were really big hits. People really love the cutaways that they create on a card front. So this is the 4th installment of dies like that, and it also cuts this really pretty diamond look with alternating sizes of dots. It's almost like, it's not really Argyle, but as you can see, it looks a little bit busy on the die, but it's really not when you cut it out. It really creates a pretty look, and you can see that here with this card. Isn't that cool? I don't know, I just love the way that looks. It just adds immediate visual interest to card fronts, and so easily, and I really like that those dies do that for crafters. It's like, oh gee, another plain card front. Nothing wrong with that. I do it all the time still, even with these dies. But sometimes you just need a little something else, but you want it done quickly and easily, and that's exactly what these cover-up dies can do for you. Great. So moving on, I think a lot of you will be super excited to know that we have a follow-up to our popular boxed up birthday greeting die, and this one is the boxed up thank you greeting die, and it actually says thanks so much, or much, because it's technically backwards on the die when you use it, because of course it has to read from left to right. So that being said, this is a little bit different than the Merry and Bright die that we just released with our last release, but it is the exact to our boxed up birthday greeting, in that this die, just like the boxed up birthday greeting, also cuts a square with stitching. So when this is done cutting, you have an actual piece that you can hold in your hand and apply with adhesive to a card front like I did here. And I just love the way that looks. I just love the simple font we chose. I love the stitch detail that you can see. And what's really cool about this particular die, the thanks so much, is that it has this little extra spot right here that cuts away from your paper. So it leaves options open for you to add certain things. So I found that I think it's the 2nd largest heart in our Stitched Hearts die set. Fits perfectly in that little spot, which is cool because I coordinated it with this paper. So this comes together so quickly because you just need a little pattern paper, a little die cutting here and here, a little adhesive, and poof, you have a card. A nice little thank you card. So these dies, and this one in particular, is great for making a set of mass-produced thank you notes, and it does so really easily. So I think you'll really like having this in your collection. So the next thing I want to talk about are a set of stamps called Keep It Sassy. So you know, here at Little Inker, I really like to bring you some tongue-in-cheek, maybe bordering on hip sentiments that you can enjoy that will give a recipient a little laugh or a chuckle. This stamp set is filled with fun, little punny and sassy greetings. There's a quote here: sometimes you just have to put on lip gloss and pretend to be psyched. And that's a quote by this actress and comedian. I listed her name here, Mindy Kaling. And you know, isn't that true that sometimes we just have that friend that could really use a card that, you know, has that cute little saying on it, and like, you know, sometimes life sucks and we just have to put on a face and roll with it. So I thought that that was a pretty cool one. Another one I included that I really like, it's pretty funny, is "You're the she to my nanigans." So it's like a play on the word shenanigans. It's all about friendship and the goofy things that we can do with our friends and how we're partners in crime, right? another interesting little saying here that I included, which I really, really like, and it's great for just a because card. We are too worried about being pretty. Let's be pretty kind, pretty funny, pretty smart, and pretty awesome. And then what I have here, another sentiment that says you could totally pass for 29. So I'm of a certain age, it ends in a 9, it doesn't begin with a 2. So next year is a really big birthday for me, and I have a lot of friends who I can imagine would get a kick out of having that sentiment on a birthday card. And so because we have that, we included this little happy birthday sentiment here as well. So if you want to see all of the great sentiments in this set, don't forget to check out our website. Okay, boy, I feel like I went on for a long time about these guys, but they're great, and you'll love them. Next up, oh my gosh, let me just show you these. Okay, so these have been in the works for ages. Have you ever started on something and what happened was I started on them, I left to go away this summer on vacation. I literally take 1 week vacation every year with my family, and I came back and these just fell off my radar. Don't know why. I just made myself a list of working things and I left it off, so when I came back from beach time, I completely forgot about them. And then one day I went, oh my gosh, what happened to the cactus stuff that I was working on? And I couldn't believe that I'd forgotten. You would have had this months ago if I'd not forgotten about that. But it's funny how things happen, because months ago I didn't have this fun little coordinating thing to go with it for you. So, you know, things happen for a reason. I'll talk about the stamp sets first. So this is our brand new So Prickly stamp set, and it's really a stamp set that focuses on these cactus images and putting them in different planters. What makes this set unique is all the little ephemera we've included that really brings these cactuses, nope, it's cacti. It brings these cacti to life. So we have little faces, we have extra little flowers or cactus blooms that you can add to the top. We even have a little mustache. They have arms, legs, arms that are holding hands, and there's even a little balloon that you can add. So while these are great plain, stamped in their little pots, you can dress them up and make them have a little bit more personality. And I really like the sentiments that we included. I'll point out the Stay Sharp, which I thought was kind of cute. Really, it implies a bunch of different things, but my favorite that I thought I would share with you in this video is Love You Thorns and All. And it's sort of a play on something that my grandmother said to us growing up, and she would give us a hug and a kiss on the forehead and say, I love you, warts and all. It's sort of a play on me remembering my grandmother saying that to us growing up. So this is super fun. I was surprised by how much fun I had playing with this. I couldn't stop reaching for it, and if I had my way, it would have been on every card for this release. But you know, there are some other things that we were releasing, so I was forced to put them down, but they are super fun. And what makes them even easier to work with is that we have this really cute coordinating paper pack for you. So this is a set of 12 6x6 sheets of paper, and each one has a different pattern that coordinates with this stamp set. Some of them have images from the stamp set, and some of them are just pattern sheets that we thought were really fun. So we have some green polka dots, we have some pink thorns, and then some of them, like I mentioned, have actual images from the stamp set, like these. You can't go wrong with some polka dots. This one is super cute. So, like, on their own, you can totally use them, especially if you're a big fan of, like, green dots and, like, these little thorny and starred kind of patterns. But they're really meant to coordinate with the stamp set. So they are going to come loose like this in this pack. So again, it's 12 individual sheets of papers that coordinate with our brand new cactus, or I should say, So Prickly. The stamp set is called So Prickly, and so are the papers. These are the So Prickly papers, and these are the So Prickly stamps. And at this price point of only $3, they are the perfect companion to this stamp set. And it'll really make your projects using these stamps come together super quickly. So I hope you enjoy those. They're really, really fun. I'm going to talk about the last 3 things that we have for this release, and then I'm going to show you a couple of projects. So this is our Inky Flowers stamp set, excuse me. These are basically just a set of these really pretty, almost butterfly looking florals, if you will. They're meant to resemble a hand-drawn flower done with pen and ink. And I say that because we've got these little, and I know if I lift this I lose focus. I don't know why, but I do. But they have these little ink splotches throughout the flowers that kind of make them unique and interesting. So I was sure to include these little ink splotches as individual stamps as well. And you can do lots of things with these, especially if you use, I don't know, do you huff on your stamps ever? Sometimes I do, which means you ink them up on your block, you add a little ink to them, and then you kind of give them a if you know what I mean, and it sort of adds a little moisture and it'll give a really nice drippy effect here. You can achieve the same effect by, spritzing your stamp after you ink it as well. Lots of things that you can do with these little drips. And what I did is we have a cluster of flowers and then we have 3 individual flowers. So you can build off of this, just use this, what have you. And what I did for the sentiments with this set is that we kept it really simple. I gave you 2 main themes, sympathy and gratitude. I don't know about you, but I have the hardest time creating these kinds of cards. I can't even say the word. Isn't that awful? I don't know why. But I wanted to bring you something that was easy, that helps you make the more difficult cards when it comes to this topic. And I really think that this stamp set will help you do that. This is actually a beautifully done sentiment. I love the font. And what's interesting about it is that, do you see this little space here? All of the other small greetings in this stamp set all fit right here in that little niche. So you can say with heartfelt sympathy, with sincerest, or with deepest sympathy. And I really like that because all 3 of these also coordinate with the with gratitude stamp, and they will all fit in this little niche right here. So these are building sentiments, and I like that we went with that option because then you can do, I don't know, maybe these in a gray or a black ink, and then maybe stamp these with a little spot of color that might match something else in the project that you're working on. So lots of possibilities here. In fact, I liked these greetings and I thought that they were so pretty, so pretty, that I decided to bring them to you in Word die format as well. So what you see here is exactly in these dies, and these are in the packages. Maybe if I bust them open, you'll be able to see them a little bit better. This is the with gratitude. It's just about the same size if you were to lay that over. See that? And then same with the with sympathy. And so far I've cut these with craft foam and I've cut them with cardstock, and they are really, really pretty, and I'm happy that I have them. In fact, I might prefer the dies over the stamps only because I feel like you can do so much more with being able to cut them out than you can with ink, which by that I mean, like, you can watercolor them and you can do some other things. So I really think that if you love this stamp set and you love the image of these sentiments, you'll really love having the Word dies, and they're super affordable too. So that is everything that we have for you for this December release. So like I said, some new stuff. These guys are new. This is totally new. These papers are totally new and something that we really haven't done before. And then we have some follow-up fan favorites, like, again, the boxed up thank you greeting and all of our pretty little dotted dies that we have for you today. Ovals, tags, and circles. And the Keep It Sassy stamps are totally a follow-up. I mean, they are really the sequel to the snarky sentiments that everybody really likes. So if you love those stamps, you'll love these too. Okay, so how about I get right into a couple of projects that I made, and I think the first one I showed you was using the dual dotted circles. This time I also used our So Prickly stamps, but I used the Keep It Sassy stamps to show you that they easily coordinate with not just the cactus. I'm gonna call them cactus stamps. When I designed them and sent them the file, that's what I called them, and then I changed it to be something much more cute and appealing to So Prickly, but I don't know, if I call them cactus stamps, you know that I mean So Prickly stamps. So I just couldn't put them down. So what I did is I used some of the So Prickly papers and filled them in here on my two smaller dots. I also used some other dotted papers from the same pack in the backgrounds here. And then I just got to stamping. I stamped these guys, dressed them up. Now, you might be disappointed to learn that we don't have dies for this stamp set. Truth be told, I thought of it. Of course I did. I love dies, have lots of them in the store. Obviously, there were so many different ways that you could use these stamps that it was almost impossible to create a die set for you. And let's look at this for example. I could have made you a die for this cactus and for this container, but then instead of them completely merging together like they are here when they're stamped, there would have been white around them. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter to you, but it irked me. And you know, you can build on some of these, like this little guy. I could have easily made dies for his body, his legs, and his arm, but then they're little, I don't know. I just feel like I made the right decision. If you disagree and you think that I absolutely should have created a die set, let me know your thoughts. I'll tell you what, if I receive a response overwhelming enough to convince me, I'll totally make these for you. It's exactly what happened with our Party Pachyderm stamps. Remember the elephants that were partying that we released earlier this year? People were like, Laura, what are you thinking? You need dies for these. So I did, and they turned out great. And I might just be able to do the same thing here. You can let me know what you think. So anyways, I had a lot of fun. Here I stamped a face. This little orange cactus topper, that's a separate stamp in the set, as are the little flower and the little, I don't know, what do you call that? It's a flower, I guess, a cactus flower, but it almost looks like a little crown, doesn't it? I really like that about this. So anyways, these are super fun. Here, when I made my background, I put a little bit of twine between the two, and I have Happy Birthday stamped from the Keep It Sassy stamps, but I added in the belated stamp that's in the same set as well. I know exactly who this is going to. It's going to my cousin Emily, who had a birthday in November right before Thanksgiving, and I'm a donkey and forgot. Yep, I did. But I love you, Em, in case you end up ever watching this, and this is for you. Okay, so let's get on to something else. I already showed you a brief shot of the thanks so much card using the boxed up thank you greeting. Again, super simple, card base, pattern paper, die cut, pattern paper, die cut, done. Maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3 because I added some glitter here to the front of my heart just for a little interest. Again, a fabulous die for creating cute but fast cards. Cute and fast, that's how we like them. How about some more cactus images? I don't know why I jumped from cactus to that, but let's look at these. Again, I had so much fun, especially with this guy. I stamped the little people, cactus people, gave them legs, arms, had them holding hands here, added the details, even added in the little balloon that he could be holding, and a lots of hugs sentiment on this fabulous new diamond lace cover-up background, which I just love. And let's see, on this one and this one, you can see that I also used the So Prickly papers. They are perfect to craft with. If you love these stamps, if you're gonna buy them, I highly recommend you spend the little bit extra and get the coordinating papers. I probably didn't mention this when I introduced the papers, but my right hand and bestie Ariana prints all these papers at her work, because Little Inker Designs is a client there, of course, and she picks for you the best possible premium ultra smooth cardstock. It's amazing. It's like buttery smooth, almost to the point where it has a bit of a sheen to it, but it's not glossy by any means. It's worth its weight in gold. And look at how fun and what a fun detail it added to enhance the cuteness of these stamps. So here you see I only dressed this guy up by adding the little flower at the top, and on this double cactus stamp, what I did is I stamped it once with light green ink and then on scratch paper in dark green ink, and I cut this guy out and popped him up on a little bit of foam tape so that I gave this a little bit of dimension and visual interest, because then they're not both the same color. And then this was just stamped in my, you know, like a burnt orangey ink, and I added a little glitter and a simple sentiment. I always think of welcoming someone and giving them a plant. So it's like a, you know, welcome to the neighborhood or welcome to the office, and giving them a little plant. So when I designed this stamp set's sentiments, I automatically chose this super cute and simple welcome stamp, which I think coordinates perfectly. And as you can see here, again, is our dotted tags dies, and this is the largest tag die in the set. So another cute but fast card. And last but not least, I used my favorite greeting from the stamp set, Love You Thorns and All. And here I used that same double cactus stamp. It's harder to tell on camera. These are two different color greens. I can see it here a little bit better in person. And here I added a little bit of personality, and even the smallest heart from our Stitched Hearts die set fits right on the front of this planter. And this is our stitch scallop border die, and I kind of did everything on an upswing here. And I mean, another cute and fast card. I love to create. Obviously, I love card making. That's, you know, that's how all of this started for me as a hobby, as a card maker. And, you know, now that I'm running Little Inker full time, I have a demand even more so for my supplies to work quickly for me, because now that I'm designing products for you, of course with the help of the team, I have even less time to get crafty and need items that create for me even more quickly. So I always have that in mind when I make things for you. You might need a quick card, but you might not have an hour to make one. So papers, a little die cutting, stamping, cutting it out, you're good to go. I love this card. I think I might send that to my brother. It seems like an apropos sentiment for him. Okay, so what else do we have here for you today? I suppose I can show you now, again, you got a sneak peek of this before, but the beautiful ovals that we have for you today. This beautiful sentiment that I love. We're too worried about being pretty. Let's be pretty kind, pretty funny, pretty smart, and pretty awesome. I layered it over some patterned paper. This here in the background is a wonky square die, which I thought was kind of a neat backdrop to the oval. And then these are flower dies from our Frames and Flower die set, and I just cut them from pink and yellow paper. I used a mint green for the leaves and added the centers in gold. But then what I took was coordinating Copic markers, and I made some little details here on the flowers just to give them a little extra oomph, which I thought worked really nicely. So I feel like a broken record when I say this, but cute and fast is kind of like the name of the game for this release. Really, really loving these ovals. I find that I'm going to be reaching for these a lot because they're just such a pretty shape and the dotted detail is just so complimentary. Love that. And I think we have more of the Frames and Flowers dies in stock. You'll have to check on that, but these are just, they're fun. They're like little hand-drawn flowers that you can die cut out and use for so many different things. Okay, so next up, I think I will talk about the last thing I have for you that I haven't shared. I made 2 cards with our new Inky Flower stamps and the word phrase dies that I included. And I didn't get a chance to use the With Sympathy die. I found that I needed some thank yous, and so I reached for my With Gratitude die. I told you I had a hard time creating sympathy cards. Maybe that has something to do with it here. Maybe not. But I wanted to show you how differently this stamp set can be used. These are both heat embossed, one in gold and one in black. What I did for this card was just masked off with washi tape. Oh my gosh, I just had a moment there. I masked off a spot on this white base with some washi tape, and then I stamped my flowers in Versamark and heat embossed them in black, so giving them a little bit of shine here. And then I took some Copic markers. I didn't do any shading. I literally scribbled because I needed to get it done quickly, but still make it look nice and neat. And then what I did for a little extra added interest is just a piece of black cardstock strip here. This is also black cardstock, and I added the word deepest here. Oh, you'll notice that I cut the width off. That was the other thing I wanted to mention to you. So you see here, this is the full greeting and they're attached. It's like one piece when you cut it out. But I wanted to show you how versatile these can be too. I snipped off the width and just used the word gratitude and added deepest. It works, right? And then what I did for a little interest is I adhered this just a little bit above the card fold. You can see that here. And I trimmed the bottom with my grandmother's vintage pinking shears. And it works. It's really pretty. It's really soft. I like the colors. And again, a pretty but fast card. This one, however, took a little bit longer because I decided to pull out my watercolors and make a background. Sometimes a girl's just gotta paint. It's just therapeutic, let's admit it. So I pulled out my watercolors and my Aquaflow pen, and I got to coloring, and then because I don't have a day for it to dry overnight, I just pull out my heat gun, put on a little Netflix, and make sure I don't burn the house down, and I just completely dried this so that I could keep going. And I stamped right on it with my Versamark ink and heat embossed my flowers in gold. And some of them I didn't emboss, just for like a little flutter in the background. And here, my die is cut with craft foam, which cuts perfectly. I mean, like, you get these like little extra, I call them hairs, you know, but you just spend a couple extra minutes like picking them off, but it's no big deal. And then I added the word heartfelt right in that little niche that I talked about. You have to make that sound before you say niche. Little niche. But I chose to stamp both times on separate little pieces of cardstock. It just made the application faster for me. And of course, too, if you stamped and you didn't line it up perfectly, this is a great way to cover up your mistake. Now, I'm not saying that that did or didn't happen. Actually, it didn't. I chose to do that because I just thought it gave a little bit of visual interest. And then I added my focal panel to this pink cardstock. And I just felt like it needed another little bit of glitter, so I just trimmed a piece from a sheet that I have and added it to the base here and let it overhang this focal panel just a little bit for some visual interest. So I'm really happy with the way those turned out. And I can't believe how quickly this has gone by. That is everything I made to show you today, and everything that you'll be seeing on the blog over the next 3 days. as you know, I've been liking to stop by with these videos. I think they're fun. I really like talking with you. Let's face it, I work in my home almost by myself all of the time, so a minute I get to chat with you, it makes me really happy, and as you can tell, I'm a bit of a chatterbox, and once I get started, I never stop. But I'd really like for you to go to our homepage, which is littlinkerdesigns.com, LILINKER designs.com. and check out all of the items that we have for you in store with this release. And don't forget to head to our blog. It's shoplittlinker.blogspot.com and check out our new release hop so that you can go to all our designers' blogs as well and see their beautiful creations. They are amazing. And just a quick note, while you're staring at my pile of cards, this will be Laura Williams' last blog hop with us as a design team member, and we're really super sad to see her go because she is just a ray of sunshine. I don't even know what else to say. She's awesome. I love her. I love her work. I love her personality. I love her positive attitude. She will be sorely missed, but she's on to super things with a new position that she's taken, and I'm really proud of her and thankful that I could have had her as part of this team as long as I have. Thank you, Laura. So be sure, if you stop by Laura's blog, to leave her a hasta la vista, and you'll be still seeing her around, just not with Little Inker. You will be so missed, my dear. Thank you so much. Thank you to you for stopping by today and checking out my video, and I am going to let you go for now. Oh, and we're giving away some prizes, so extra reasons why to come by the blog and leave us some love, because you'll be in the running to win one of 3 $15 gift certificates, which you can use to buy some of your favorite new goodies from this release. So one more thing before I let you go. It is just a couple weeks before Christmas, and I would just like to wish you and your families and your loved ones happy holidays and season's greetings. And truly, from the bottom of my heart, I'm just so thankful for everybody who supports Little Inker and what I do here, and that's from the design team to my friends that help with graphics and the customers and my family too. I love what I do. It brings me joy. I hope that it brings others joy. It's a lot of hard work, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the new year with new goodies and hopefully a renewed perspective. I know that for the new year, I need to strike a better balance between work and family. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. If you're like me and feel like you work really hard but should work even harder spending time with family, I'm thinking of you too right now, and let's make it a good new year. Okay, this is cards. It's fun. I'm going on. Thank you so much for coming by. Enjoy the new release, and I love ya. Thanks. Bye-bye.